Hey, good morning, everyone. So, we all noticed the weather looks a little different than it usually does. So, what's everybody doing that is having to spend time outside? Because not all of us can just stop the world because there's smoke in the air, because the air quality is bad. Well, some people may think it looks weak to wear a mask or to cover your face, but what's weak is laying on the ground because you can't breathe. That's weak. Not suggesting that you go out and wear a mask all the time, but if you're having to walk astride or be out there, don't feel ashamed to just cover your breath a little bit to filter some of your air coming in. And maybe do some breathing exercises. Like yesterday, I decided to walk down to Classic Kelly's, which is about a half mile away, thinking, oh, that's not bad, it's only half mile. I'm used to walking that. Well, I got down to Wesco, which is a little less than half the way, and I was like quite lightheaded. So I slowed my pace, but then I started cupping my face, and well, my route back to home from Classic Kelly's, I decided to pace myself a little bit better, and with doing longer breaths, I was able to make it. I found out I can walk from Classic Kelly's to Dollar General with only using 5 breaths, and only 12 breaths going from Dollar General over to Wesco, and 15 long breaths coming back home. But if your lungs are not strong enough for you to hold your breath long enough to walk 15, 20 feet or whatever before you have to take your next breath in, cover your nose. That way you can breathe and have something filtered. But also, if you're not used to doing deep breathing exercises, your next breath in, you're going to breathe harder. Well, breathing this junk in harder is not ideal. So when you do your breath in, whether you cover with your hand or cover with a cloth, it can make it so your experience outside isn't as bad on you. And having one of these where you can test your oxygen levels and your heart rate isn't a bad idea. But when you're inside trying to recover from being outside, we do have some suggestions for you here at Perry's Place LLC for herbs, teas, and more. Menthol crystals, which is made from peppermint, is a good way to open up your passageways. Putting some essential oils in the palm of your hand and doing some deep breathing, inhaling, using them like a inhaler. We do have small tins that contain menthol crystals in it. We have a wide variety of essential oils. Your eucalyptus would be a good one. Like I said, your peppermint, Raven Sarah. Anything that when you take a deep whiff of it, you can feel your lungs opening up and your eyeballs popping like, wow, that's invigorating. Them things can help get oxygen into your lungs and through your passageways. Boron, which is made from broccoli stalk, is an excellent nutritional supplement to help fight inflammation that's also in your respiratory because if you're out there breathing this stuff for more than a few moments, you're getting junk into your lungs. And using boron or consuming a lot more broccoli. Yes, I know right now there's a scare about getting diarrhea and parasites from eating some of your green stuff, but just get you some distilled vinegar, throw in some Himalayan sea salt, and dip your veggies in there for 5 or 10 minutes. It's not long enough to pickle the food, so you're good, but it's long enough to help kill some of the parasites and microbials that are on top of your veggies and your produce, and people use it for a wash instead of using chemicals. Distilled vinegar, I know there's a lot of people like, oh, don't use distilled vinegar. It's like, well, no, it's don't eat distilled vinegar. Distilled vinegar is excellent for being a natural antiseptic and cleaning agent. The stuff the kind of apple cider vinegar and stuff that people are consuming for nutrients and for digestive health, that's not the best ideal for cleaning with. I would still look at using your distilled vinegars for that. And salt, whether it's sea salt, Himalayan salt, Celtic salt, there's no sense of using the most expensive salt when it comes to cleaning. Taking in digestively, is a different story. But a lot of your salts will kill 99.99999% of bacteria. So why not use it to clean your food instead of, some people are like, oh, bleach everything. It's like, how about use some salt or use some distilled vinegar? But, just throwing out a few more health tips, educating people so that you don't have to fear all this stuff. It's like, it'll eventually go away. It's not as bad as what we was going through in 2020, but there are a lot of people that if they're compromised immune system and they catch a lot of things, they're worried about, oh, I can't eat my veggies because now I'm going to get parasites and have diarrhea and get, dehydrated, and it's already hot, so I'm already dehydrated. And it's like, well, consume things with a lot of electrolytes. Coconut water has got an excellent source of electrolytes. Making potato broths, they have a lot of electrolytes, and that's the reason why some people are making these potato batteries, because there's electrolytes in there, and that's what electricity can be conduced from. The same way on the Gilligan's Island, when the professor used the coconuts to make batteries to run the radio off from, it's because it's loaded with electrolytes. Alright, stop in to see us. Everybody be safe out there. Know your limits when it comes to walking in this stuff. And like I said, it's not weak to cover your nose, cover your mouth when you're trying to breathe. What's weak is laying on the ground and you can't move. Alright, have a great day, everyone.